So New Year's Eve, we all know crazy things happen on New Year's Eve. I get in this fight on New Year's Eve, right?
You get into a fight?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won, obviously, because I only have a black eye. Still fine. Got the job done, made sure it was all taken care of and everything. Made sure the fence was standing up because, it fell down, and make sure I stood it back up. But it was actually a post hole digger, self-inflicted eye wound.
Yeah,
So not
camera
very-
hit you.
Yeah, she did. Her hand's doing just fine though, so she's got all the rings on that hand, so. But no, I was digging a hole, stuck the post hole diggers over there, grabbed just one of the ends of the post hole digger, picked it up, the left one fell, and if it was an inch or two down, it would have been direct eye contact, so I'm thankful that it did only hit my, and I told Tamara, I said, this is my good eye, because if you guys remember, I had shingles in this eye and have nerve damage, it's not really that serious, but on this eye, so, I'm just trying to take myself out here. But, all is well. I actually have had zero pain the whole way through. It just looks really, really ugly. Why are you laughing? Almost knocked myself out. I hit myself that hard.
I was gonna say, most of us have probably seen that movie David, the animated one. I took my kids to see it this past week. It is really good.
Good.
It's really, it was entertaining and it was a little long for, ma'am? Okay.
That was
A little long for Gabriel, but it was really, really good. So if anybody has the opportunity to take your little ones that can sit through it, or when it comes out, or take someone else's little ones if you can, it was really, really good.
good. Thank you for sharing that. I know Tamara and I are planning on taking William hopefully soon. So, yeah, I hear it's a great movie. And I heard something at the beginning. I don't know if they're still doing it, but the kids they were advertising something that the kids went for free. Is that still a thing, or is that kind of
I had to pay.
Okay.
And I
It must have been the first
yeah,
week or something.
I think, yes, kids went free for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was missing it, but I was glad to pay for it,
Yeah.
especially when it was all over,
Yeah. If you guys don't know, if you go to AMC, Tuesdays it's cheaper to go on Tuesdays. So if you want to take some people with you, it is I think half off or something like that on Tuesday. So thanks for sharing that to me. Thank you. All right, so I kind of got an easy week here, which I'm thankful. Harley texted me last night, and I was like, "Oh man, you got to come up with something here pretty quick." But holidays are always the easier thing to kind of speak on because there's a subject kind of given to you. So today we're going to talk a little bit about New Year's, right? And kind of I know William talked about it last week, Sunday morning, talking about that we need to not put God on that list of New Year's resolutions. That needs to just be something we're doing anyway. That we don't really want to rank. Losing 5 pounds with, okay, well, hey, I'm gonna start reading scripture this year also. So, I definitely appreciated that. So, with that, Tamara and I spent some time yesterday going over kind of what our year is gonna look like as a family. One thing that we talked a lot about, and I'll use this word, and if anybody can guess the acronym, I would love to hear it. But we came up with some BHAGs. Does anybody know what a BHAG is? A BHAG. I know you don't. No. We came up with what it is, and once I say it, oh yeah, we did that. Okay, a BHAG is a big, audacious, big, hairy, audacious goal. BHAG. Big, hairy, audacious goal, which means it's something that's really lofty that most people would say couldn't be done. But we're going to set it as a goal and try our best to reach it anyway. So, big, hairy, audacious goal. BHAG. BHAG. Hairy, yeah, that's right. Big, hairy one.
Hairy part.
But we spent a little bit of time on that, but really the most of the time we spent kind of coming up or really putting pen to paper on what our core values are as a married couple, as a family, and things like that. So if you guys have been around Tamara and I for any length of time, we've talked about core values and things like that. We've always knew kind of what our core values were, but we've never actually put pen to paper and go, okay, hey, here's the 12 words that associate to our core values. Here are the root words, here are the verses and things like that. Again, it's just been, we know who he is, right? We know who we are as a family, what our goals are and things like that. We actually spend a lot of time doing that. And I have a resource for you guys if you want to do that we kind of walk through and things like that. Tamara's got a couple copies back there. I only brought a few, but if it's something that you're wanting to do, we can email it to you or whatever like that, or I can make more copies and give it to you. But it was really fruitful for us to go and sit down and say, hey, what are we going to focus on really for our life, but more than anything, your core values are going to inform your decision making. So, okay, hey, we do or don't X, Y, Z. Well, when a situation comes up that is XYZ, you go, oh, our core value is that we don't do that, or we do that. Instead of having to go, I wonder what we're gonna do. It's an easy, quick decision, and you know where each other lie kind of on it. So, we'll talk a little bit about that later. But again, as I was studying and thinking about this week's thing, a visual that I've used in the past came to mind, and I thought that it was applicable. They're gonna be really mad at me. Oh well.
Usually that's what
I don't know where the eraser is though. Does anybody know? Well, okay, let's think about this one. What's Colorado known for? Does anybody know? Colorado. What is Colorado known for? One thing that we did this New Year's is we went and hung out with Ben, and one of the games we played with Ben is drawing the United States by memory. Does anybody think they could do that? And put the states in there and label the states and what the states are. So to draw it as close without looking at a map. To go, okay, hey, here's New Mexico, here's Texas. Oh, those are easy, right? So, okay, where's Idaho at? Okay, where's New Hampshire?
What is Colorado famous
Okay,
for?
New York's easy. Yeah.
Well, New Hampshire's next.
Okay, you're right.
Those
That's true.
red things.
All right. So one thing that came up was the shapes of states, but luckily Colorado is really easy to draw. really easy. Okay. You want to see Colorado?
Yeah.
Okay. Colorado. Ready? Kind of starts that way, goes this way, and you got that right there. There's Colorado. There's Colorado. Okay. If you guys didn't know, the abbreviation for Colorado is CO. Okay. Interesting thing about Colorado is it's actually kind of split in half with what? The mountains. Okay, what mountains? Rocky Mountains. Okay, so these are my mountains. You guys get to see my beautiful artwork and my ability to draw today. So on the west side of we talked about directions. Which side is west? Who knows?
Left.
Okay, there we go. So that's west. This is east. It's going to be important here in a second. Okay. So on the western side, so it's kind of half, but it's more on this side. Okay, are the Rocky Mountains, and on the east side, does anybody know what's over here?
Plains.
The plains, right? Okay, and not the airplanes, but the. Still wrong for this. Okay.
Why didn't it?
So it's kind of like that. Okay, so it's a unique geography for all of America. It's kind of one of those unique places. The thing that it has that is different than most places is it has two different kinds of animals. Okay, for the description here, we're going to do. This is going to be a buffalo.
Like a cow.
Yeah, something like that, okay? And then a cow's going to have rounded ears. How about that? And spots. Okay, this guy's just going to be hairy, like the gold. Okay. Right? Okay. Oh, the cow needs
Where's his face?
a... Cute little guys, okay? So, it's kind of a funny story, but it's going to be kind of what we're talking about today. So, with the mountain range being here and the plains being here, all of the storms happen over here in the west and move their way over to the east, okay? So both of these creatures live kind of in this area in the plains here, okay? And what we can learn from them is going to be how that they react to these storms that are coming this way, okay? So that's going to kind of be where we start off today. So we're going to start off with the cow because, they're the ones that we know about, right? We've seen cows. We know how cows react and how they are and things like that. So when a storm comes over, the cows look at it and they go, uh-oh. Right, however they say that. We got to hightail it and get out of here. Okay, they turn around and they run as fast as they can to get away from this storm. Okay, has anybody ever seen a cow run?
Someone run
On a scale of cheetah to turtle, kind of where are they landing? Okay, probably more on the turtle side. They're beating the turtle, right? Okay, or maybe they don't, because slow and steady always wins the race. But they are not the fastest creatures. So as they are trekking along, this storm is just a moving. And what do you think eventually happens?
They catch up.
Okay, the storm catches up with the cows. And now it's raining. And when we say storms, we don't mean, just rain, right? We're talking golf ball, baseball size hail. Okay, that's hitting. Okay, probably black eyes, things like that, right? And they run. What do you think the cow does once the storm gets to them?
Stop.
You would think that would make sense. But what they actually continue to do is they continue to run. And the storm is still moving as they are running. So they're maximizing the pain that's happening by continuing to run from this storm. It's still hitting them. It's moving. So we're talking about here trajectory and math and things like that, right? But eventually they're just running and running, and the storm's kind of staying. Eventually the storm passes, and they end up over here worn out, beat up, tired. Okay? Isn't that stupid?
Yeah.
Isn't that stupid?
Yep.
Who in here thinks that's stupid?
They're not smart creatures.
Who thinks that's a really good idea? Isn't that exactly what we do though? Don't we see pain coming and go, oh crap, we gotta get out of here. Right? We gotta get out of here.
Tied down to the bed.
Tell everybody.
Okay. We consistently try to avoid the difficult circumstances, or what we're going to use for our illustration here today, storms. Okay, we try to get away from that. Some examples of this can be debt and finances. Okay, some of these things may ring true, some may not. Okay, have you ever heard of anybody going out and maybe saying, "Oh, I don't even know how much I have." Right? They have no idea how much debt they have, or what what their bills look like, or they get to the end of the month or end of the week and they go, oh man, I'm out of money, right? They try to refinance, consolidate, or borrow again, just not to have that paid off, but not to get free, but to flee from the pain itself of actually having all that debt. What about our health? I know Mark talks about that a lot, right? Hey, I've tried to diet, it just doesn't work. Look at me, I'm healthy, right? Hey, I'm good. Costs too much. Takes too much time. Right, it's too hard. I tried, it's too hard. What about our relationships? Parents, friends, spouses, avoiding hard conversations. Tamara? She doesn't avoid them, I do. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Okay, instead of talking about the problem directly, we let resentment grow and our relationships drift. Right, so instead of dealing with it, it ends up getting worse and worse and worse, and resentment builds up, and we go, man, I really don't like that person anymore. Where if the small little thing that happened got dealt with, we'd go on with our lives, right? So a quote that I've always heard is that problems that are procrastinated are only amplified. Is that true in you guys' life? Have you ever had a problem that you just ignored and it didn't get worse, it actually got better? Has that ever happened to anybody here? Think about your car, okay? I got a car problem right now, okay? It's misfiring a little bit, it's fine. Not a big deal, it still drives. Hadn't blown up. Check the oil, it's still good. Doesn't get hot, it's okay. What's eventually going to happen to that car? Eventually. Is it just going to get better? All of a sudden it's just going to stop having problems and then it'll be okay, right? What does Shannon say? It gets worse, right? So if I went and got it looked at right now, it's probably just a sensor. Hey, let's take the sensor out, put the sensor in. Hey, it's probably fine. But if I wait a year, eventually blowing head gasket, cylinder misfire, things like that, right? Eventually we got a whole total engine failure that costs thousands of dollars maybe versus a $20 fix, okay? So that kind of thing. All right, so that's how the cows react. Now let's talk about our buffalo here, okay? Let's make this guy look mean. Because buffalo are mean, aren't they?
You need to give him a beard, Chris.
A beard?
Yeah.
And it's not that kind of buffalo, that's a bison. Actually, there are no buffaloes in America. They're all American bison, just in case you ever wondered that. There's no such thing as a buffalo.
There's no buffalo.
They're in
They're
Africa.
all bison.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're actually bison, not buffalo that you see. So if you Googled what a bison looks like, you go, oh, okay, I've seen that. But if you Google what a buffalo looks like, you go, we don't have that there. Hey, they look kind of weird. Yeah, no. Public school, right? That's this side. Okay. So here's our guy. Andy wants him to have a little beard. She's missing Harley. We get it. We get it. All right. So that's our buffalo here. Okay. So if we're talking about the cows.
Why are you calling it a buffalo if we don't have buffalo?
Well, it's just kind of the illustration here, Shannon. I like the word buffalo. Okay? That's what I grew up on. It's what I know. Okay. The American bison here, in the plains of Nebraska. Okay. They're looking at this exact same storm, and they go, hey, I'm going to charge that thing. Okay, buffalo are kind of crazy. Okay, but they see this storm coming over the cross, and instead of hightailing it running this way, they go, oh, I'm going to run this way. Okay, again, we're gonna talk about some math and some things like that. Okay, as they're running this way, buffalo a tad bit faster than cows. Okay, just a little bit, not much. As they're running this way and the storm's coming this way, what happens?
Shorter exposure
They
time.
collide.
They don't collide, but sorta, yeah, I guess, but you think about two cars coming towards each other, maybe in different lanes, okay? Instead of just standing still, the car goes vroom, but when you got two cars coming, it's faster, right? So the exposure and the pain from this hail coming down, they experience, but it's a lot shorter. And then they get past the storm, and then they're over here enjoying their day for the rest of the day. Eating grass, doing that. These cows are running for 12 hours. This guy's got maybe 2 hours running through this thing going, yeah, that hurt, but hey, this grass is pretty good. It just got wet. Okay? So, again, it's kind of interesting that two of like kind animals going through the exact same storm, but doing things completely different. Okay? So they minimize their time and pain by facing it outright. Okay? Different response, very different outcome. Can we agree with that? So there's this thing called the paradox principle. Okay, this is kind of where we're going to get in the weeds here, just a tad bit. Okay. It's two sentences, so listen really carefully because it sounds like they say the same thing, but they don't. Okay. What it states is that easy, short-term choices lead to difficult, long-term consequences. Okay, I'll say that again. Easy, short-term choices lead to difficult, long-term circumstances. Okay, and then on the adverse, that also works, or the inverse, I should say. Difficult, short-term choices lead to easier, more fulfilling, long-term outcomes. Okay, so how does that actually work out in life here? Okay, the things that feel the easiest in the moment are often the things or the vehicles that lead to a harder life. Okay, I'll go through some examples here. So some examples of maybe addiction, right? Has anybody ever had possibly, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, okay, but let's go through some of these things, right? So maybe an addiction to pornography, okay, an addiction to drugs. How about the addiction to just pure laziness, right? Of going, I'm just not going to do anything. You know, you laugh, but that's some people's disposition in life is like, I'm just not going to do anything. Like, and you guys have some people in your life that you go, man, that guy right there, or that girl right there, they just sit on the couch all day, they're a couch potato, they don't have much to do, right? What about a lack of knowledge? Have you guys ever ran across somebody that says, oh yeah, well, I'm just not that smart, right? Not reading, learning, or growing. Maybe just somebody that's in poor health, or maybe you that's in poor health, whatever, right? That, you eat junk food or you have inactivity. No one wakes up and say, you know what, today, I'm gonna ruin my life. Today feels like a good day for me to ruin my life, right? It's the little tiny choices that lead us to those big words, addiction, right? To lack of knowledge, to being dumb, unlearned, whatever, or poor health. Okay, you don't just, some people obviously have genetics and they have poor health and things like that. But most often, the leading cause of things is lack of exercise, poor eating, things like that, right? Same thing with addictions. They go in and it's the little, well, I'll just dabble in this, not gonna be that big of a deal. Nobody knows about it. I'm gonna do this thing over here on the side. But then you build, and you turn around, and all of a sudden you go, man, I'm in this thing. Yes. You wanna come stay with me? Okay, great. So again, those little bitty decisions, because again, everything's a decision. Something doesn't just happen to you in life. Okay, it's all decisions, even if you don't agree with that. But it is true. Okay, but on the other side of looking at that, okay, let's think about some things that feel hard, okay, but actually lead to passive freedom. Okay, how about a strong relationship with God? That's not something you just wake up to and go, okay, hey, yeah, well, that's great, right? You got to pray, you got to read. Okay, how about good health? Again, we're talking about the hard, easy, but hard to do choices. Exercising, eating healthy, okay, being wise, right, or being smart. Okay, how do you do those things? Does somebody just wake up a genius? There's a few people, okay, there's a few people. Star over here, of course, is a genius, and we know that. She was born that way, right? But no, most people spend the time reading, learning, listening to people, having wise people in their life. Okay, you don't just wake up at 60 and go, well, I'm a wise man because I've lived and seen buffaloes and cows running all day long, right? But they spent the time learning the lessons and actually going out there and doing it. Yeah, you want that down? Great. Okay, so what does this all come down to, really? What does it all come down to? We're talking about, decisions and how to do this and doing that, whatever like that, right? But really what it comes down to is us being good stewards. ultimately. Okay, because we can go, oh yeah, well my plan is this year that I'm going to lose weight. My plan is this year that I'm going to have a strong relationship with God, even though William says don't put that on the list, which I agree with. Okay, or whatever it is, right? That I am going to do this. This is my plan because this is the thing that I'm going to do because I'm focused and this, that, and the other. I'm going to say that's bad motivation. Okay, Tim and I talk about a lot what our whys are. So it's good to have whys, good to have reasons why you do things, but really before you can have a good why, you really got to understand kind of maybe the who. Okay, I don't really know how to say that. Okay. Let's go to Genesis 1:1. Let's start there. For the new year, we'll start off with the first verse in the Bible. How about that? We'll start 1:1 and we'll read all the way through. We'll see how far we can get. Okay. All right, so Genesis 1:1, as we all know, but we'll read it here. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Okay? So what is that, as we're talking about this, we're talking about, okay, yeah, he created the world and everything like that. We're talking about stewardship. How does that tie in? How does it tie in that God created the heaven and the earth?
To what?
To what we're talking about.
Huh?
How does that tie in to what we're talking about? Being a good steward.
Oh,
Because somebody had to take care of it.
Okay. So if you create something, it's normally yours, right? You own it. So if you create something, you normally own it, okay? Think about it. You build a house, okay, hey, this is my house, I own. Okay? So him being the creator also makes him the owner. Okay? So that's important to remember, okay? Let's go to Psalms chapter 24. Psalms chapter 24. So he created everything, so it's his, right? Psalms 24, verse 1. And it says, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. Okay, so he created the heaven and the earth. And he owns that because he created it. Okay, what else in this verse did he create? All that live in
the
it.
seas?
All that dwell in it. Okay, do you guys dwell in the world? Is this your dwelling place? Okay, so what does that make you? Owned, right? So you were created. God owns you. So the things that you have, that you think that are yours, are not yours, right? They've been given to you, your life, your body, your family, finances, your house, everything, right? The food you eat, all those things were given to you. In one shape, way, or form, whatever. You may have to go work and make some money. Yeah, okay, that's how the world works. It's not really how God works, right? Okay, so we are not co-owners. Yeah, we didn't create ourselves. Yeah, okay, mom and dad made babies, right? Amy, you know how that works. But you aren't co-owners of that baby that's in you right now. Okay, you have been given to steward that baby that's been given to you, right? Same thing with everything. Christy talked about finances, our houses, things like that, right? We have been given these things, and we are what the Bible calls stewards of these things. So the assets belong to God. We are called to manage the assets, people, family, things, whatever, okay? So you may ask yourself, okay, well, hey, maybe this is the first time I've ever heard the word steward, okay? So what even is that? So let's talk about a couple examples here. You guys help me here that maybe know how to speak Greek. I live in Mobile, Alabama. We don't speak Greek here. Some people do. There's some Greek Orthodox churches. So, there's some people here that do. But so I'm not even going to try to say this word. I'm just going to spell it in the Greek. But there are two different Greek words that are used in the New Testament to talk about the word of steward, or what we interpret the word steward. You guys know me, my handwriting's terrible, my spelling is terrible, and my drawing is superb. Okay, so this is the first one. Anybody that wants to try to say that, I would love for someone to. William, you took Greek, didn't you? Donnie, you took Greek? No, nobody took Greek. All right. How about we all just fumble with it together then, okay? Epitropos, maybe. How about that? That sounds kind of like a Harry Potter spell or something. So I don't really. Okay, sounds good. That's why I'm not even gonna say it, because that's probably butchering it so bad. Okay. But this I'm going to give you guys 3 examples here. But the way that this word is commonly used is talking about managers or foremans or stewards. Okay, our first. I'm going to give you guys the reference here. So if on your paper you don't have this, let me give you guys the references here and we'll turn to these. So we're going to go to Matthew 20, verse 8. So if you guys will flip there, and also write that down. Luke 8:3, and Galatians, that's a G, 4:2. All right, so we are in Matthew 20, verse 8. We may not go to all these for time here, but we'll go to this one for sure. All right, it says, "So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his stewards, Call the laborers and give them their hire, beginning from the last until the first." So the word that we're looking at there is that Greek word. We find that here in the word that's translated steward in this verse. Okay. Let's go to Luke chapter 8, verse 3. So just a few pages over. I guess a couple books over, actually, sorry. Luke chapter 8 and verse 3 says, "And Joanna, the wife of Chusa Herod's stewards, and Susanna and many others were ministered unto him for their substance." So again, that word there is translated steward. Okay? And we're not talking about context here, we're just going through some of the ways that this word is used. And let's go to Galatians chapter 4, and we'll round off this use of it in Scripture. Let's see. Okay. But is under tutors and governors unto the time appointed to the Father. So what word there do you think that is the Greek word translated? Tutor. Yep, tutor. Okay, so that's the first Greek word that's used. The second one, which this is kind of interesting. Okay. William should be able to say this one, but don't tell me why yet. Okay, we're going to go to Luke 16:2 on this one. We're going to go to Ephesians 3:2. We're going to go to Colossians 1:25. Everybody turn to Luke chapter 16 for me real quick. Does anybody want to try to say that one? I said the last one, so somebody else butcher it for me. Anybody? Just say it loud and proud.
Open Almas.
Perfect. I think that's it. I couldn't tell you if it was right or wrong, but it sounded great. I agree, yeah. I would have agreed with anybody because it's better than I would have done, okay? All right, so we are in 16, verse 2. It says, "And he called him and said unto him, How is that I hear of this of thee? Give an account unto thy stewardship, for they mayest be no longer a steward." Okay. So that's parable of the unrighteous steward there. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 3. So again, we've had steward, tutors, and stewardship that we've used there. So that's the word, and that one was stewardship. So let's go to Ephesians chapter 3. And I promise you this will make sense here in a minute, okay? This is kind of interesting from our dispensational view of the Bible here. So Ephesians chapter 3, verse 2, and it says, "If ye have heard of this dispensation of the grace of God which is given to me to youward." Well, that verse doesn't say the word steward, does it? Does it?
Youward?
Steward? Does it say steward? It's not youward. It's not youward.
No.
Nope. Anybody else have a guess?
Administration?
Administration? Close, but nope.
Well, in his
Translation, that's true. In your translation, that's true. So dispensation. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Right? So think about that. So we have been given the dispensation of grace, and we are called to what with it? To steward it. Okay? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Okay, let's go to Colossians chapter 1, verse 25. You know, you can pick any one verse out of the Bible and you know, have a sermon on it, right, Wayne? And you can come up with any meaning or whatever you want doing it that way. But let's go to Colossians chapter 1, verse 25. And there's more references to this, but again, for time's sake, we're gonna just stop here. Okay? Colossians chapter 1, verse 25, and Paul says, "Wherefore I am made a minister according to the dispensation of God, which is given unto me for you to fulfill the word of God." So again, what word do we think that is also translated steward is used here? Josh, say it again. Okay, good job, Josh. Yeah, so again, it's used again, okay? So we're thinking about, okay, hey, we are given the ministry of reconciliation, right? That's what we today, the dispensation of grace have been given us, the ministry of reconciliation, the word of reconciliation, right? And that is our job as Christians to dispense or to steward to others, right? For us to take this gospel that Paul was given by Christ to go out into the world. Okay, so again, so that's great. We can go into that. Would love to talk to you guys about how we go out and do those things, but we're going to kind of come back to the New Year's thing here, right? I just found that interesting while I was studying. Those are the two words in Scripture that are used for stewardship. But as I was looking, I was like, oh, the word dispensation here. Well, that makes sense because, again, it was given to then give. So it was something to steward. Okay, so to kind of go over here, let's go to Ephesians chapter 5. And you may ask, okay, so how, we're talking about what it means to be a steward and, you know, okay, what the words mean in Greek and what they're translated in, but how do I, today, in 2026, be a steward? How do I be a steward? Okay, so Ephesians chapter 5 is going to be a great place for us to start here. Does anybody want to read?
I can read.
Okay, I would love for you to read, Donna. So we're in, let's see, verse 15 through 17.
Okay. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore, be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. And be not drunk with wine wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit.
Perfect.
I think I've read too many.
That's okay. That's all right. So, okay, let's go back to verse 15. It says, "See then that you walk circumspectly." Okay, other than William and Frank, can somebody tell me what the word circumspectly means?
Upright.
And Donna, no, sorry, not you either. Sorry. Okay, the word circumspectly. We use it all the time, right? That's, you know, a normal word for us to just throw off, you know, the hip, right?
Like-
Walk circumspectly. Say it louder. Cindy?
Carefully.
Yeah,
Carefully.
around
You're
where,
careful. Okay. So the textbook definition means to do something in a careful, cautious, or prudent way, considering all possible circumstances, potential consequences, or risks before acting or speaking.
We should tell that to our kids.
Right? I agree.
We
Walk
should use that
circumspectly.
word. Teach them that
Yeah,
word.
I agree. Essentially looking around before you leap. You guys ever been on something and go, I'm going to jump off of this, and then maybe when you get William's age, you go, I don't know if my knees can take that. I don't know, okay? But I have a son over here, Matthew, that does not walk circumspectly, okay? But he's young. His knees don't hurt. If it were up to him, he'd get off that table and just jump without even thinking about it. And he would land it perfectly, get up, and just run off like nothing happened, okay? We have a couch that's about this tall in our house, and one day, so it's a difference between two different kids, right? William, would get on the couch and he would go, oh, I want to jump. And he would say, hey, come here, hold my hand while I jump. I know I can do it, but I need, you know, the courage to do it. Matthew, he's got his own courage. That kid will just get up there and send it without even thinking about it, right? He just gets up, jumps, and goes, yep, that was fun. And me and Tamara look at each other like, do you know he could do that? Like, nope, didn't know he could do that. But man, he did it. There he is. And he has done it probably 200 times and has probably only fallen one time. So it's incredible, okay? But he doesn't need to be cautious, but eventually he will, okay? It's also about being discreet, wise, and avoiding mistakes or negative outcomes. Okay, so again, you're thinking about, to me, that is a great description of what it means to be a steward. Okay, it's not just to take the asset or the person or the relationship for granted and just do whatever you want with it, but think, okay, hey, how is this going to affect me? How is this going to affect my life? How is this going to affect people around me today, tomorrow, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever. Okay? So that's number one, okay, is to walk circumspectly. That's how you can be a steward today in 2026. The second thing is going to be found in verse 16. okay? It says, redeeming the time because the days are evil. So, what can we do? Not a trick question. Don't think about that hard. We can study, okay? But just in general, redeeming the time. Okay? So we are called to redeem the time. That doesn't mean sit on the couch, watch TV. That doesn't mean eat the bag of Cheetos. That doesn't mean doing this. That's not redeeming the time. That's wasting the time, right? We can all agree that there are places in our life, okay, that we waste a lot of time. Both hands up on that, okay? That's not redeeming the time. Okay, so that's the second thing. So first thing, walk circumspectly. And the second thing is to redeem the time. But you may ask yourself, okay, but how do I redeem the time? Or what do I redeem my time doing or whatever like that? Okay, so let's look at verse 17. It says, wherefore be not unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is. You guys ever sat back and thought, man, I know the Lord's got a will for my life, but what is it? What is it? What is the will of the Lord for me today? Okay, what is it? What is it? What is it? So there's a couple things we can talk about today. Again, we're talking in context here. We can talk about, okay, spreading the gospel. Yeah, that's great. Let's have a sermon on that. Perfect. Love it. That's the most important thing you can do, okay? But that is a thing that we've been given as stewards. But I would say that the will of the Lord for your life is to be a good steward with whatever it is that he has given you. So the gospel he's given to all of us. So that's easy things to talk about, right? But individually, we have things that are unique to us that everybody else does not have, okay? One of the questions that's in this packet that Tamara and I talked about was, help me with the question, Tamara. How are you uniquely positioned to serve the Lord or something like that? And we sat back and thought, how are we uniquely positioned? And we even went to we both have grandparents that are alive. She has a mother that's alive. I have a mom and a dad. I have a brother. She's got a ton of sisters. So even our family dynamic, our family structure is unique between the two closest people that are in our household, that we are completely different. We see the world totally separate, but again, we're very connected on how we see the world, right? Just that we can both bring different perspectives and things like that. Everybody in here, even if we just stop at the family, okay, even if you're sisters, right? Back here in the back, you guys have different dynamics, right? Kids, this, whatever, right? You guys have a father that lives in the Philippines. I don't have that. My dad sits in the garage all day, right? So he's never going outside of Mobile, Alabama unless it's to go somewhere for work, and that's happening maybe every 5 years, right? But so it's different dynamics and things like that. Okay. I don't know where I was going with that, but uniquely positioned. Thank you. Yeah. So God's will in your life, thank you, Donna, is totally different than the person sitting next to you. You may share some things if you're married of things that you steward together, but you also have things, you have your life, your health, your body, okay, your job, whatever, that your spouse doesn't have, or your kids don't have, or your dad doesn't have, or your mom doesn't have. So we are all called to be good stewards, and we all cannot do it the exact same way, because we all have different jobs and different assignments in this world, and that's how God created us, right, is to have those things differently, to then come together as the body of Christ to serve him as a whole unit. Okay. All right, so with 5 minutes left, we're going to go through all 7 qualities of what it means to be a biblical steward. Okay, we're not really, but I kind of just want to go through this real quick with you guys, and this is why I printed it out with you, because as I was studying and coming over these things, I was going, there is not a chance that I'm going to be able to have time to go through everything that I want to. So I wanted to give you guys this resources. I wanted to give you guys this for you guys just to sit back and think about, okay, what does it mean to be a steward? This is what the Bible says. This is how the Bible defines itself, or defines its term, steward. Okay, now how do I go and be that? Right? So here's the 7 things. There's verses to go along with it. I really challenge you guys to go home today and to kind of go over this. Then I want to go over what's on the back of your paper and also the thing that Tamara and I went over. So, let's go through these 7 here. A biblical steward is content. Content. Who in here has ever struggled with contentment? Come on, Wayne, raise your hand. Come on, raise your hand. He's perfect, I tell you what, man. You're the perfect guy. Okay, what does it mean to be content? Peaceful. I think you definitely have peace. Wanting nothing. Okay. A state of satisfaction. So this is on your paper here. Or to be satisfied. So I think that peace definitely does come when you are sad, or when. So it's interesting, right? Because you can be content and have nothing, right? Paul says that he knew how to both abase and to abound, right? So maybe you guys have had that. I've had that in my life where I have had nothing. Okay, when Tamara and I first got married, I had $10 in my bank account. Went to the wedding. On the way to the wedding, went to buy her something. Card got declined. On the way to the wedding,
Her got what?
declined.
Decline, oh, card.
So I,
Okay.
yeah, Pete, you don't have enough money, and I'm like, well, I'm going to get married, so
She's got money.
that was our money. Okay, that $10 was our money. She did not have money. Okay, but man, some of the best times that we had were in that state of abasement, or basically to have nothing, right? And now we have done well, and we're doing well, and
Get more than $10.
we have more than $10, right? Exactly. So, and we're content with what we have, right? And that's why we've always had the position of, man, life is good, Christ is good, God is good. He's given us these things. Our life is great. Okay, so that's first thing, is to be satisfied. So that's how you can, A1, be a biblical steward. Number 2, a biblical steward is loving. Okay, what does the word mean to be loving? Definitions on your papers.
So answers on the paper. Show great care.
Feeling or showing love or great care.
Oh, look, it says Jennifer.
Okay,
right
number
there.
3, a biblical steward is
I
faithful.
said, oh, look, it says Jennifer right there.
What does it mean to be faithful?
Reliable.
To be
Oh.
relied on, or to be honest,
Describe
or
you.
to be truthful. Okay?
Thanks, Dad.
A biblical steward is accountable. The word accountable means to be required or expected to justify actions or decisions or responsible. So how does that fit into be a steward? Okay, we talked about, I believe in Luke, about how the guy was losing his stewardship or his position of being a steward of the house because he was not able to be relied on. He did not do what he was told. He did not act the way that his master or his Lord in that situation told him to do, right? What about us? Can God rely on us with the things that he's given us? Are we accountable? Can we go, oh yeah, God, here's the account. I did this and this is why, and I did this for you and this, that, and I served it this way, and I thought about it. I was going to do this, and I said no because it, right? Can we say that, or can we go, yeah, I don't know, just kind of did whatever with what you gave me, my family, my life, whatever. I kind of just seat in my pants, just whatever, right? Okay.
Excuse.
Your excuse. A biblical steward is wise. Okay, what does it mean to be wise? Having or showing experience, knowledge, and a good judgment. Again, we just kind of talked about that, right? Okay, how do you get wise? You just wake up one day and get wise? You get gray hair like Josh and become wise all of a sudden? No, it's a small repetitions of life, okay? Small repetitions. Okay, a biblical steward is generous. Isn't that interesting? God doesn't give you something to hoard it. Ever.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you feel like it though.
Sometimes you feel like it.
You wanna keep it just
Right.
to yourself.
And
And
that,
not share it.
okay, let's just use that in a financial sense, but let's also jump on the side of, okay, time, right? Time is the most valuable resource that we have here on earth. You can go get more money. You can go do whatever you want, but man, you have a finite amount of time that God's given you. That's the most, expensive resource that we have. So, being generous with that, right? Going, oh man, I'm so busy. I got a family. I got this. I got a job. I got that. Just think about it, okay? Biblical steward is grateful. Okay, what does it mean to be grateful? Feeling or showing an appreciation of kindness or being thankful. Okay? Does anybody around here go, God gave me this, and really wish he'd have gave it to William, because man, this black eye I wish I didn't have. I wish I gave it to William, okay? No, okay? Everything that he's given us, we need to be grateful for and joyful about. All right, so for the last negative 2 minutes of my time here, I want to talk about these things that you possibly have, okay? So the first one is on the back here, okay? So it's kind of interesting. I did this in, I guess, 22 going into 23. And I was not going through a lot, but I was
Self-assessment.
self-assessing, thank you.
There you go.
So I was going through and going, man, where's my life today? Where do I want my life to be? And it's kind of interesting going through this of going, man, some of this stuff actually kind of came true. Like, it's awesome. Like, it's just really interesting to go back and go, you know, you feel like you're in the weeds of things, going through and going in and going, I'm not making any traction, this, that, the other, and then going back and going, man, here's what I said I wanted to be true, and some of these things actually became true. It's really cool. So, again, this is just a resource that I've used that I would really implore you guys to kind of think about here. So we'll just talk about it real quick. I can give you guys a couple of good examples, but it seems pretty self-explanatory there. So basically, I call this a life audit. Okay, it's honest assessment, not of what you want to be true or what I want people to think is true of me, but actually to sit down and go, okay, if no one were to ever find this piece of paper, I'm going to sit, be quiet, and be honest with myself. Okay, I think that a lot of us, including me, have a problem with being actually honest. Not, well, you know, yeah, that's true, but no, what I really, you know, it's not that bad, or it's not, you know what I mean, that kind of thing, right? But to be honest with yourself, okay? So we'll just go through these questions, and then I'll talk about this other one, okay? So what do my current actions and how I spend my time show that is important to me? Okay, so just give you guys a couple examples in your paper there. TV, right? How much time? So you're thinking about, okay, when you think about an audit, what does the word audit mean? Let's talk about a financial term of audit. It means you're comparing two different things and seeing what's true, right? So if you think about a life audit, you're looking at, okay, we're not talking about money, we're talking about time. Again, we talked about time being our most valuable resource. So if you were to write down, so a lot of people say if you look at your bank account, you can find what's the most important thing about you. If you were to write down every single transaction that happened on your bank account for the last month, you go, oh, well, I spent this much money on X, that's obviously the most important thing to me, right? Same thing with time. Okay, I spent this much time on this thing, so this is the most important thing to me because I spent this much time on it. So, easy example is TV. Okay, hey, wait, I watch, 2 hours a day for 5 days, well, that's 10 hours, and then I go to work for 8 hours, and so on the ranking system, you probably have work as the most important thing to you. You have TV as probably the second thing for most Americans. Maybe sports, okay, or whatever, your phone, great one, that's not yet, I don't ever think about that one. Okay, your phone, you think about your screen time, sleep, and you go, man, that's pretty much all my time. And then you look at it and you go, okay, so if the statement is true that what I spend my time on is what's important to me, is this what I want to be true about me, right? Do I want TV or my phone or social media or whatever be the most important thing in my life outside of my job? Okay, most of us with family members in our life, we would go, no. Relationships, kids, spouse, those should be what we're looking at, right? So number 2, and I'm out of time, but we'll run through real quick. What do my current actions and how I spend my time show that are not important to me? Okay, what do I spend 0 time on? Again, you're being self-assessment going, okay, some of the things that I wrote down with my relationship with God. On my life audit that I had in 22 and even now, right? Not a lot of time was spent on that. So my actions are showing me, may not what I want to be true about myself, but my actions are showing me that it's true. My marriage. I didn't spend a ton of time working on my marriage back then, right? Going, man, so okay, this is not important to me at all. Obviously, it's what my actions say, right? So that's that. Number 3, what things do I want to be important in 20? So there'll be 6 on this one. But you're looking at 1 and 2 going, okay, this is what's true, this is what I don't want, or this is what says I don't want it to be. What do I actually want it to be? And then number 4 is the most important question. What has to change for number 3 to be true? So the things that I want to be important, what has to change about me, my actions, my time, whatever, to actually make it happen? And then down that bottom part there, so it's interesting. So something always has to end for something to begin. Okay, think about that. That's not just okay, that sounds good. But you think about darkness to light, they don't mix, right? So it has to stop being dark for light to be what it is. Okay, you cannot be a child while also being a man. So you have to stop being a child before you can become a man or a woman, vice versa, right? So an example that I put on your paper there is stop eating bad. So you have to stop eating bad to start eating healthy, right? Again, if you do both at the same time, you're not making any progress. So think about those things in your life. You have to replace it, exactly. So you have to stop, exactly. Okay, so that's my time there.
If you want to stop doing something, you got to replace with something else because you're still going to do it unless you're...
Exactly. Which again makes you a less than desirable steward for the Lord for those things. Okay. Core values. If you guys want to write down your core values and you have no idea how to do it, I have papers in the back. Grab them from me. If we run out of papers, let me know. Tamara will actually email you the PDF and we'll go from there. Okay. All right. I will close. Lord, thank you so much for today. Just thank you, Lord, for your word, for giving us the instruction manual for our life so that we could dig in and go, man, how do I live this life, Lord? How do I go into the world and be a steward for you? How do I be a light? How do I be an ambassador for you? And Lord, you have all the answers for us. All we have to do is dig in and see what it is. God, we just are very thankful for that you've made it plain and simple. You didn't make it complicated for us to understand, Lord. We're just thankful for that. We pray for the service over here in the sanctuary today, just that it goes well and that we're able to praise you and learn something from Pastor Wayne. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.